Alright, I'm going to say it here and now. 3, 2, 1. Barcelona wouldn't have been in the incredible form they're in right now if it wasn't for Ferran Torres. From constantly getting criticised and criminally overlooked.
He's okay, and he's definitely had his moments this year, but we'll see more of those misses that we saw.
To always proving the haters wrong.
And a chance to finish it! Ferran Torres has done just that!
I don't support his crying. He's a professional player now.
And Rafinha with the shot, and Torres has scored! Ferran Torres with a header!
And if it's not just pundits and specialists, Ferran Torres' main critics and haters are the Barcelona fans themselves. And the interesting part is that this cycle repeats itself over and over again. Whenever he drops a poor performance, everyone hates on him. They want him out. But the very second he delivers in a big game, the fans hype him up to the roof, and suddenly everyone believes in his qualities. The good news for Barcelona fans, and Ferran Torres in particular, is that the Spaniard has been on fire since the start of the season. In 2025 in particular, the Shark, as he's known, has been top scorer in the Copa del Rey along with Endrick and Julian Alvarez. He's also scored a hat-trick against Valencia, a goal against Betis, and of course, the winner against Atletico Madrid at the Metropolitano, the goal that took Barca to the final of the Copa del Rey. He's also scored at other key moments for Barca, the brace against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League and the double against Atletico Madrid in La Liga, all goals that have been crucial to Barca's success in all competitions. All in all, Ferran has 16 goals and 3 assists in the 2024-25 season, making it not only his best year since arrival at Barcelona, but also the most prolific of his career to date. And as we're talking about Ferran Torres, how would you react if I told you that we have already experienced this? We've seen this before, not so long ago, and Barca fans must be having a flashback, a deja vu. Look, a lot of people tend to compare current players to stars of the past who have experienced similar fates, and in the case of Ferran Torres, the most common comparisons you might see are between him and Davidvilla. And there's a reason for this. Both are Valencia graduates, both are very mobile forwards, able to cover the whole attack in front, and both have scored some very, very similar goals throughout their careers. Just look at Villa's strike against Madrid and Ferran's against Athletic Bilbao. So yeah, the comparisons make sense, but Villa was a world-class striker back in the day. He scored week in, week out in the biggest games for Barcelona. With all due respect to Ferran, he's a lot more to prove to reach Villa's level of the early 2010s. However, another Barca player from that era, with whom comparisons could be more justified, is between Ferran and Alexis Sanchez. And here I'll explain why, because there are more than you think. When Alexis arrived at Barca in 2011, he was regarded as one of the most exciting wingers in Europe. Explosive, tricky and direct, he'd just enjoyed a brilliant season with Italian side Udinese. But from the moment he stepped foot at the Camp Nou, it was clear that playing for Barcelona wasn't going to be as easy as it had been in Italy. The Chilean striker struggled to adapt to Barcelona's intricate passing system, where the team wasn't built for individual flair, but for structured, controlled domination. Sound familiar? Well, actually, yes. Ferran Torres arrived in January 2022 from Manchester City under similar circumstances. High expectations, a hefty price tag, and a reputation as a versatile, intelligent attacker. And when we say a hefty price tag, just think about it. The period between 2020 and 2022 was extremely vulnerable for Barcelona financially, yet they were convinced that the €55 million investment would be worth it. And now, from our current perspective, with the important goals Ferran is scoring, it really looks like he's already redeemed his price, 4 years after his transfer. However, in his first 2 seasons, and especially in 2022-23, Ferran, much like Alexis Sanchez, wasn't fully convincing. At his best, he's electric, with clever movement, work rate and positioning. But at his worst, he often drifts through games like a ghost, struggling to make an impact and often missing crucial chances. And he explained in an interview that whenever he played badly, the whole media was onto him because of the efforts Barcelona made to sign him.
Pero llega una fase que, si no me acuerdo mal, fue la del Rayo Vallecano y entras de Frankfurt, que prácticamente ahí se nos va la temporada a la mierda. Y ahí fue cuando yo me di cuenta que mi fichaje llevaba un lastre, que era del esfuerzo que había hecho el club en el momento que lo había hecho, porque todas las críticas prácticamente cayeron en mí.
Apart from that, there was another big problem for Ferran: competition. Just like Alexis, who had to fight for minutes with Lionel Messi, David Villa and then Neymar, Ferran is in a strikingly similar situation, constantly struggling to play with Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha and Lamine Yamal. The result? A player who, despite flashes of brilliance, is ultimately seen as replaceable. For much of his time at Barcelona, no matter how hard he works, he'll never be the main man unless he dramatically manages to perform like a world-class striker. And also, let's talk about inconsistency, because both players have been masters of it at Barca. Alexis could go from scoring an outrageous chip against Real Madrid to vanishing in the biggest European games. Ferran, he can look like a goal-scoring machine with incredible efficiency, bagging a hat-trick with his first 3 shots against Valencia, but then miss this. And this against Atleticomadrid. But the big question still remains. How does Ferran manage to redeem himself every time he's brutally criticised and even hated by the fans? Well, the answer lies in his mentality.
Me ha convertido en un Ferran, es que a día de hoy yo me considero que indestructible, o sea, me considero
La
como...
mentalidad de tiburón.
La mentalidad de tiburón, yo a día de hoy me considero que nadie puede conmigo.
Since the first weeks and months in which Ferran managed to overcome his negative thoughts and start delivering for Barca, which we'll talk about in a minute, there have been many reports of him adopting the shark mentality, that unbeatable mental approach that helps him stay grounded without getting too emotional when good things happen, or too disappointed when he misses or doesn't perform as expected. And the main reason for this mental approach is that he's convinced himself that he can't go on like this unless he starts working with a professional.
No creo que estuviese cerca de la depresión,
Vale.
pero no quería admitir que estaba mal y no quería creerme que yo estaba mal.
And that's why he started going to therapy under a highly proficient psychologist in Barcelona. This step in his life proved to be crucial to his performance on the pitch, and the first results came at the start of the 2023-24 season when he scored a number of important goals for Barca. In the first few months of the season, he scored 6 goals and provided 1 assist in all competitions, including victories over Cadiz in La Liga and Porto in the Champions League, as well as a goal and an assist against Shakhtar Donetsk. However, the goal that attracted the most media attention was the free kick against Betis in September 2023, which happened to be a historic one for Barcelona. It was the first direct free kick for the club in La Liga since Messi himself. Yes, for 2.5 years, a number of Barca players have tried their luck from the free kick spot, with 41 shots failing to find the back of the net. But Ferran finally broke the curse and became the first player to score a Barca free kick since Messi's departure. Then, Ferran has had other memorable moments, including a hat-trick against Betis in the second half season. However, the end of the 2023-24 campaign was much slower than the beginning. He looked lost at times and couldn't find his place in the team after the arrival of Hansi Flick. In the first game of the season, against his boyhood club Valencia, Ferran produced arguably his worst performance in a Barcelona shirt. Many fans labelled him finished and simply not good enough. In the eyes of the fans, he was already a closed chapter for the club. But then, when 2025 came around, oh boy, he started to deliver at an incredible rate. Everyone focuses on his league statistics and the fact that he's more non-penalty goals than Vinny Jr., for example. But that's not even the most important thing about Ferran's current form. The thing that makes me respect him even more is that he manages to raise his game, really, to a level we've probably never seen before, at the most important stage of the season. At a time when all Barca's forwards are exhausted, he steps up for either Lewandowski or Rafinha and makes a big impact. Say what you will, but Ferran Torres is the most efficient striker in La Liga at the time of writing. At the moment, he has 9 goals to his name and is scoring at a rate of 1.02 goals per 90 minutes, which in simple terms means, statistically, with his current form, Ferran is guaranteeing you at least a goal every game, which is extremely impressive. And to go even further, there are only 3 players in the top 5 European leagues with a better goals to game ratio than Ferran, and those are PSG's Ousmane Dembele with 1.26, Bayer Leverkusen's Patrick Schick with 1.24, and Atalanta's Matteo Retegui with 1.14. Now, it's time for you to have your honest opinion. With Ferran's current form, should Barca seriously stop thinking about signing a striker to give that spot to the Spaniard? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you've come this far in the video, it looks like you're enjoying our content. Don't hesitate to like and subscribe, and I'll thank you and see you next time.